Hey, 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 hey. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, team. For Sky Omaha. What up, y'all? First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Oh, yeah. Hey, 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 it's going down. First Sky Omaha. I hope you guys are feeling good this morning on this Wednesday, December 7th.
Hey.
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 Hump day it is. Feels like it too. Feels
Man.
like it. All right, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. We are on YouTube. I think we're still on First Sky Omaha, the Facebook page for the moment. What's going on, Brother Valentine? He says, morning, fam. What's happening?
Hey.
What's
happening? Coming live from YouTube.
Live from YouTube. That's what's up. Also, 6:30 crew, let me know how the mix was this morning if you heard it. Good morning to you over there on firstskyOmaha.com, the listen button. Lots to talk about today. That's real. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Come on over. First Sky Omaha, the YouTube channel. Let's get it rolling. Woo. Gotta wake up. Wake on up.
Tired, boss.
Man, tired, boss. Time to get up, move your body. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy to God, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners, all of you radio listeners as well. Appreciate you guys coming on in early, checking out the jams at 6:30. Amy Huffler says, Buenos dias, familia. What's going on with you, Amy? Thank you for joining us over here on YouTube. Pop's in the house. Pop says, good morning, First Sky fam and crew. Love from Las Vegas. Appreciate you, Pops. Yeah, tell a friend. We're over here on YouTube. Like, you know, it was going exclusive. We're not all the way over there yet. We still got a channel going to First Sky Omaha, the Facebook page, but we will be moving to YouTube exclusively during season 5. And season 5 is coming up, man. The season 4 break is coming up.
Man, I mean, I was kind of just still kind of mind boggled that today is the 2-year anniversary of First Sky Omaha, man. You know, looking back 2 years, we started this thing in the void after, you know, leaving Mind and Soul, and here we are, man. 2 years later, getting ready for season 5.
Yeah, it's a trip. Leia Keiser says, good morning in the morning, singing along with you. Ron's Reviews, JB Smooth won the election in Georgia. Yep, sure did. We'll be definitely talking about that as well. But yeah, in the meantime, yeah, it's a trip. It is 2 years. Buddy hit me to this. I did not know. It was not keeping track of the time. But yes, 2 years. She said, how the heck? That's what I'm saying.
Man, you tell me.
So this day today marks 2 years of us being First Sky Omaha, which means yesterday was the 2-year anniversary of us leaving Mind and Soul.
Pretty much.
Because we started up the very next day. We fired it up in the void.
Pretty much.
After the lockout. We was like, that's it. All right.
Man, yeah. Had one of our best shows on Friday. Was locked out on Monday.
Yeah.
And was coming live from the void by Tuesday.
There you go. Something like that. Yeah, man. Yeah. 2 years. That's a trip. Pop says happy anniversary. Appreciate that. So I don't
Thank
think I missed an episode. That's what's up, Rome's
what
Reviews. Appreciate you, Mayor Sanchez.
the mayor.
Stephanie Smith in the house says, good morning, First Sky Omaha family and friends. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us over here on YouTube. She says, congratulations, fellas. Well done. Thank you,
Hey,
Amy. Appreciate you very much. Yeah, it's a real trip, man. We was, as a matter of fact, a friend of mine from California reposted a show from like last year when we
mm,
were over at Weberized, and like, buddy was in the studio. You had the screen behind you. I was in a whole nother room. We were switching. It looked like a different show almost,
man,
but it was us sounding the same. Really, really a trip. But lots of changes, lots of evolution that's been happening over the past couple years for sure. And like Buddy said, man, pretty soon we're gonna have done First Sky Omaha longer than we were over at Mind and Soul. So yeah, that's what it is. Wanda Lewis says, "Good morning. I'm here, there, and everywhere." She's on
hey,
Facebook. She's on YouTube. She's coming in everywhere. That's what's up.
you name it.
Rose Review says, "First Sky is a quality brand." Appreciate that, man.
Hey, mm,
Appreciate that very much.
mm,
Trying to make it happen.
man,
Mark Manner says, "Good morning and happy anniversary. I have found myself more educated and in the know than ever in my life because of this experience." Man, bro, you know how to, now that man knows how to give a compliment. Thank you very much, sir. That's exactly what we want to hear. We appreciate that very much. Likewise, brother. Likewise, like I said, like I've been telling the story about you back in the day making them Prince purchases.
man,
My musical shaping has been because I was able to find some of them bootleg albums that you bought back in the day. So same here, man. Stacey Jean says, "Yes, I've been following you guys since the Mind and Soul days." That's what's up.
man. Nah. Like seriously, y'all, my heart is getting warmed, man. Like, we're just two guys trying to figure it out, trying to add value, trying to, talk about the things that matter, man. Trying to do something. Really, just two guys who love music, love art, trying to do something. And to get this support, to have this loyalty, man, kind of getting choked up. But I appreciate y'all and am glad that y'all see value in what it is that we're doing. That's what
Yeah,
keeps us going.
I really appreciate y'all. Brother Valentine says, "Since I found y'all, can no longer say that I do not know what is going on in the man." That's what's up. We want you to know what's going on in the O, especially the North O, the South O, East Side, everywhere, man. You know,
Yeah,
Omaha in general. We kind of go from the vibe that Omaha is. We treat Omaha like the center of the universe. There's so many things that connect all over the place. So yeah, it's been a good journey and definitely changes along the way. We got more changes coming for season 5 for sure. We were just talking about them tech changes, all kinds of things, look changes. The way that we're going to be able to record interviews is going to be different, so that we can have cleaner versions that we can be able to replay. Launching that video channel that we got coming up. Radio channel also. We're trying to launch some radio shows again. I don't know if you guys remember back in the Mind and Soul days, but we weren't just in the morning on the morning show. We were Funktropolis at night and
man.
Roots of
Lunchtime
Electric
live.
Jazz, Lunchtime Live, Roots of Electric Jazz in the daytime. We had quality music shows and stuff like that back there too. So we're looking at trying to re up those and get those out, especially on the radio channel. So if you haven't had a chance to check out the digital channel, go to firstsky.omaha.com, hit the listen button, and that's 24/7 celebration of black music over there. So definitely check it out. Also, like Ron's Reviews is saying, hit the like button on your way in or out. We appreciate that. We got to start saying that now that we're going to be exclusive over at YouTube. And so yeah, definitely check that out. Hit the bell too. We say
Yeah.
bang the dilly.
Bang the dilly on the running
Oh,
kind. Oh yeah.
my main demons. That's what's
Ah,
up.
man. How you doing, Paul? What's going on?
I'm doing good, man. Like same thing, man. Just kind of like filled with some good emotion right now. Just thinking about like everything that we done and hung in there for this amount of time. And just yes, it's a trip, man. And like I said, we can't do it without you. Like we were doing a morning show the same way everybody does, like a morning radio show, and this thing is morphed into a conversation,
Mhm.
a show, which is what the, which is that's the niche, that's the thing that was needed. And as you can see, there's people in the chat right now that's saying they benefit from that. So that's
Yeah.
I'm just like you, man, full of emotion on that. Pop says, I always say when one door closes, another door opens. I know adversary gives birth change, as they say in Australia. Good on you. Yeah, I
Hmm.
got a friend from Australia always says that. Good on you. As they say in England, well done you. You are greatly lived. Appreciate that,
Hmm.
Pops. Appreciate
Bravo.
that very much. Brooke says, "Good morning, brother Valentine." Says, "Fresh Sky Omaha doing their part now. Get them ghost listeners." Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, get them come on through, man. Tell a friend. This is still a conversation where we need to have as many voices as possible.
Yeah, man.
Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, all that good stuff. But other than that, man, yeah, I'm feeling good. Just tripping, just tripping. I had no I. When you hear me this morning, I was like, it cannot have been 2 years already. That's just crazy.
Already, man. Already. And the craziest thing to me is there's still a lot of things that we still haven't done that we, want to do and always plan on doing. And there's still a lot of growth and potential with, this platform that we even see. And I'm sure there's things that we don't see, as people
Mhm.
that's just in it. Um, so yeah, I'm just excited. I'm just excited about what the future holds. Yeah, yeah. Live from the void, man.
Live from the void, man. 2 years
man,
later,
man.
it's crazy. Yeah. Well, welcome. Thank you for being here on our 2 year anniversary.
Yes.
That I didn't know was happening, and we really appreciate that. Good morning, Black Dynamite. What's happening, man? Say good morning
Hey,
to you. Lots to talk about today. We do have special guests. You know what day it is? Women's Wednesday. Precious McKesson hit me up this morning and says she's in Puerto Rico, but she's coming on anyway
man.
because there's a lot to talk about, a lot to say about the events of the past few days for sure. Also, we'll be seeing what's good in the hood with Kimmerer Snipes, as we usually do around this time. So that's what's happening. Can't wait to hear from her. And in the meantime, between time, buddy, what's some of the things we're gonna be talking about with the peoples today?
Man, it's another heavy day. A lot of things going on in the world, especially in our backyard, that we would like to discuss with you and continuing to follow the bag and look at what's going on with our schools, man. Elementary school students, excuse me, will have changes to their bus situation. If you remember early in the school year, OPS had a pretty bad transportation bus driver shortage, and that has not gone away. Although we have not heard, many stories about that, much conversation about it. It is not going away, and now seems to be getting worse. So we'll talk about that situation, and then also Heartland Family Services, on one of the nonprofits in the area that provides services to families in the heartland, given the name, but they will be pulling back some of those services. So yeah, we'll definitely talk about that situation and how that might impact, you or families that you might be familiar with. And then also looking at uh, continuing to follow the bag with this economic recovery fund. Again, hundreds of millions of dollars coming into the east side of Omaha, as we like to call it, both North and South Omaha. I do believe a decision actually will be made on some of those proposed projects this month. So we'll definitely continue to look out for that. But as of recently, that business park that's said to be by the airport just received a boost. So we'll give an update on that situation as well. And
Excuse
of
me.
course, we got to dive into some political news. Governor Rick is making an announcement. Not to anybody's surprise, again, that he will be applying for the U.S. Senate that was left vacant by Ben Sass, who recently went down to Florida. And then also, State Senator Tom Moorfield is having a conversation about extremism and misinformation. So we're definitely going to get into that and more. There's also, speaking of extremism and misinformation, there's a huge Supreme Court case that could change the landscape of things, man, especially ahead of 2024. So yeah, we're going to talk about that and more. Of course, if there's anything on your hearts, your minds that we feel like, we're not talking about, we should be talking about, feel free to drop that into the chat. Let your mind be free. And as I like to say, most importantly, let your voice be heard. Paul B, Buddy the God, all of you. It's a love affair, man. First Guy Omaha. Let's go.
Good morning. What up? What up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy to God, all of you chat chimers on this 2-year anniversary of First Sky Omaha. We started 2 years ago today. And something I didn't know it until Buddy brought it to my attention. But yes, 2 years ago today. And then my heat just kicked on real hard. And then that reminded me of 2 years ago when that heat kicked on real hard back then too. Because yeah, it's cold outside in a big way.
Bruh.
It is supposed to get up to 40 degrees today, but it was super cold. And then tomorrow we're supposed to get, or actually a little later on in the day, we're supposed to get some rain that's going to turn into icy rain.
Mm.
So navigate around that so you guys ain't slipping and sliding and all that ridiculousness. But it is what it is. But yeah, here we are on Hump Day. It is Wednesday. What is it? December the 7th right now. Precious McKesson and Kimber Snipes will be on a little bit later, so definitely stick around for them. In the chat, real quick, Wanda Lewis says the change is going to be rough for me. I'm a little bit complacent due to the fact that I'm old school and I talk too much. I'm looking to try to figure out how to leave a link open for the Facebook cats that don't want to come on through. Because this is the Wanda Lewis. You're too important of a chat chimer
Yeah.
to make it hard for you to come on in. So we'll figure something out. Also, Terry Crawford says, happy anniversary, First Sky. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, 2 years on the air now. That's crazy. Yeah, man. I'm jealous. Precious over in Puerto Rico, like Amy's saying. Ay, ay, ay. I wish
Soaking
I
it
was
up.
on there right now. Nunaji L in the house says, top of the morning, family. What's up? What's up?
Peace, peace.
Josh Takes says, good morning and happy hump day. Good morning, Josh. Appreciate you, man. We were just talking about how it's our 2-year anniversary today, unbeknownst to me. But thanks to Facebook and their and their yearly updates, and Buddy bringing it to my attention, we are here. Wanda Lewis says philanthropists and donors can pull the plug anytime they want. It can wipe out an entire nonprofit. So
Man,
true.
facts.
We've seen it happen. We've seen it happen firsthand. As a matter of fact.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why we, operate the way we operate.
Very true. Stephen Abraham says, good morning to you. He says, we made it through another rotation. May you rise to help self and others become successful. I like that. Very much so. C. Larkin gives us a happy anniversary. Thank you. And Black Dynamite says, wow, congratulations on making a solid 2 years.
Hey, man,
Does not feel like it, bro. Does
not
not
at
feel
all.
like it at all. Yep. So, very interesting stuff that we have to talk about. Josh Tay says that's 104 hump days. A lot of
Okay.
humping. There's a lot of humping going
Yeah,
on right.
man, humping around.
Yeah, man. That's what's up, man. And like I said, the trip about it, if I were to sum up that this 2 years, we started off like a regular radio morning show where there's not a whole lot of feedback coming in, and we've morphed into what is now a conversation show, so a show that cannot happen without y'all and the conversation that we have with each other. That's what it's all about. That's what was needed. I'm so glad to be associated. Me and my partner here, Buddy, with the ability to mold and shape into what is needed out here, and be flexible enough to do that, and still hang in there and still roll. So yeah, feel real lucky that we figure some things out, and I feel real lucky that we get to speak to you guys like we do. So thank you very much for joining us. Feel free to jump into the chat and have some things to say. Also, tell a friend, have and talk to those ghost listeners too. Tell them to come on in and have a conversation with us. This is what this is all about. So we
Yes, sir.
appreciate it. We're growing in partnerships as we get older too. So that's great. Paul Philman in the house says congratulations. Appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Hope we can make some kind of a difference. We don't just want to be a couple of talking heads, but we want to find some solutions by through discussion with you guys, and then implement those solutions. So that's what we're here to do. Rose Review says, I remember Paul and a lady in a dark studio with the disco lights.
And you talking about the Funk Chopless days?
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. That was right when we were just starting to start, we were kind of just posting stuff a little bit here and there, and showing the party that we were having inside the studio. But then we went full video after that. So yeah, man, that's you've been hanging around there for a while, Mayor Sanchez. That's what's up.
The mayor.
Appreciate that. Let's go ahead and jump on into some things. It's already 7:20 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, Precious will be coming in 7:30 sharp because she's only got a few minutes that she can share with us live from Puerto Rico So
Okay.
let's go ahead and jump into a couple things and see what's going on here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll kick off today with OPS news again for a lot of people starting their morning commutes, getting ready to send the little ones off to school and things like that. You might be want to be aware of this bus change that's coming your way next year, especially those of you who have again students in OPS. You might be one of the 3,000 students who might have to find a new way to school next year. That's coming from the announcement from Omaha Public Schools, who has proposed cutting some students from bus routes. Again, this is a response to the driver shortage that they've been faced. Now, I think over the last couple of years, the district released recommendations Monday to improve that situation, saying that they actually also told parents that the district's transportation partner has not met any of their expectations, to say the least. Charles Wakefield, who's a chief of operations and talent officer for OPS, says right now our parents don't always know when a bus is going to come because we don't have drivers for every route. Right now, students arrive to school late because they don't know what to plan for. The proposed changes could include the home to school distance for eligible that makes riders eligible for a ride. Excuse me. Dr. Cheryl Logan, again, Dr. Cheryl Logan, Superintendent OPS or OPS of Superintendent, says we offer our heartfelt thanks to the drivers who are showing up every day for children. Both we and our contracted partner are hiring. At the same time, we need to take steps so students have a reliable trip to and from school in the year to come. This is kind of where my head, begins to itch a little bit with these changes. Again, they are changing the distance for which students are eligible for a bus ride, mostly for elementary students. Elementary students would now, if these proposals go through, have to extend from a mile to a mile and a half before they're eligible to ride or ride a bus to school. Middle school students, their distance will be 2 miles, which will extend from a mile and a half. However, high school students will not be impacted. So again, elementary schools next year, if you have a student in elementary, you will have to live at least a mile and a half from the school to be eligible for a bus ride. And if you have a middle school student, that's 2 miles. Where this kind of scratches my head is high school students. You would think that they would be the most impacted, and you would leave elementary school students unimpeded because now that means more students might have to walk, a further distance to school. Um, just more stress for parents. While high school students, again, some of them can drive, so the number of people impacted in that is lessened. But again, what are your thoughts, especially those of you who are either working in childcare, because I know there are a few of you who do that, or those of you who have school age children? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, and how's it going to affect you? That's the real question.
Right.
Yeah, your distance to the school, you can kind of tell whether or not you're going to be able to use the bus system, or if you're going to qualify just by looking at the distance to the school that they're mentioning now. How are these changes going to affect you? My right off the top of my head, I feel like this has been an ongoing thing. We've been talking about this all the way since the mine and soul days about the shortages of bus drivers. um, and the reason why they have to cut this back is because they can't get enough bus drivers to service all these routes. And my question is, why don't you just pay bus driver? Why don't you just up the pay for bus drivers so you can hire some and get them in there? Like, why the kids got to suffer for that? Especially with as big of a budget that the OPS has.
Yeah.
Put some more on transportation.
Well, I will kind of push back towards that. There was an attempt in October. The school board, as reported, did approve a new contract which raised wages for bus drivers, but also had harsher penalties for missed routes and late buses. So Wakefield says, again, who's the talent director for OPS, he says that was not enough of those movements, saying those improved salaries helped our provider maintain staffing, but we are not seeing the increase in staffing we would like to see. So to your point, they did try to raise wages, but it just wasn't enough. Um, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah,
Does
it
it need
wasn't
more
enough.
money or
Well, yeah, I mean, I what else? What else do you have to attract people to a job? To me, it's got to be offer more money or
Mhm.
benefits or do something. Uh, you know, that give people an opportunity who are working in other fields that want to change fields, maybe to come over and be worth their while to do it. People do signing bonuses and all kinds of stuff all the time to get to draw people in. So um, I guess I'm not an economics major or anything, so
Mhm.
I guess you got to try to figure out what is viable for you to pay somebody. But I don't know. It just seems to me like they ought to be shifting some money around here, just like I always say for teachers. How come the teachers and the people that transport the kids aren't getting paid top dollar? Stephanie Smith in the chat said, actually, Wanda Lewis first says, sounds like a setback. Children will end up back in their neighborhood schools and we'll go back to fighting for diversity like we did it before the 70s. Woo!
Man, yeah, I didn't think about that impact on this situation as far as this limiting what schools certain students and certain families can send their children to. And yeah, this might change the game as far as the eligibility to send, to a better school. And we talked about the whole private public school conversation that's happening, and certain leaders in the state have it their way. Public schools might be harder to find.
Stephanie Smith in the chat says, so elementary children are getting dumped on. This is going to be a nightmare for morning rush hour for parents, for sure. Amy Huffler says, scaling back access in this type of help for parents is a big problem. Pay the drivers more. Exactly. I don't understand. Paul Philman says, I drove for UPS and plan to speak at public hearing. Highest factor in school absence, encouraging creation of full-time, well-paid driver position. Get community foundation to create full jobs. Yeah, do something about the job situation. He says highest factor in school absence is transportation problems. Real crazy, real crazy. So yeah, let us know about how you are dealing with what you're dealing with for sure. If this is going to impact you personally and what that's going to look like, and we'll definitely keep our eye on what's going on here.
Yeah.
We do have our special guest in the house. I do want to bring her in because she is not even in town, so we're going to bring her in a little early and have some discussion. Seems like she got something to say about this thing too. You might want to wiggle that cord around there.
Yeah,
Hold
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah. 1 second.
Yeah. In the meantime, between time, ladies and gentlemen, Precious McKesson,
Hey,
live from Puerto
y'all.
Rico. Hey, hey. I'm jealous. I'm jealous. Look at all that sun back there. We over here cold as we can be, and you over
As
there
you can
sunning
see,
it up.
I'm ready to hit the beach, so we gotta hurry this party up.
Ladies and gentlemen, Precious McKesson right near the beach, ready to
Right
go.
near the beach.
What are you doing in Puerto Rico?
So, um, first, hello everybody. It's been a rough couple, I would say, couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Not only after the election, I got very sick. I kind of kept that under wraps because I didn't want,
Mm,
people like, flooding my timeline or calling. But I weathered the storm. Also, in between there, my nephew was murdered. Um, and so it's been a rough. So I just want to tell y'all I missed y'all so much, and I thank you to those who reached out, who knew what was going on. Shout out to Kimra, because Kimra sent me a text message about, you good, you good, like she, and I appreciate that, because I mean, I weathered that storm, but I felt it was a moment that I had to weather that storm in a way that was for me to be able to start a healing process and just kind of just figure out where my place is. And so, to everybody who reached out, I really appreciate it. And my family and Sincere's family appreciates the prayers. There was an arrest made on Monday, which would have been his 20th birthday. So, again,
mm,
I'll just say, from his mom and his dad, thank you for the prayers. Thank you for the community that stepped up to really support them during that time. And I didn't get to talk publicly about it. I didn't talk to media about it. Sincere was a good kid, and Sincere was ours, and we're going to miss him dearly. So, I just want to say that before I start. um,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
can say it actually without crying. I can say it, with pride, that we miss him dearly, and we're going to make sure that justice is served for him.
Beautiful.
I can't imagine, man. I'm so sorry that you went through that. I'm glad to see you weathering the storm there.
Yes, and so here, for what we're doing in Puerto Rico right now, we are here. All the executive directors, as well as the vice chairs and the chairs of the parties, come together, and discuss, debrief on the 2023 or 2022 election, and then we also start to go into the process of 2023 and 2024. So this happens every year. The winter meeting is normally somewhere that is not cold, and they trust me, they could have chosen Florida, but we're not giving our money to Florida. So they chose Puerto Rico, which was hard hit from the hurricanes. And so we come here and we invest our money back into an economy that is struggling. And so today is like my free day because tomorrow all the business starts. So I'm still working, and then we kind of just go from here. So that's what we're doing here. We're here strategizing together, celebrating some of the wins. Like last night, we had a big win in Georgia, and I'll just say that Georgia showed up and showed out.
Hey.
And also, I will say this, and I hope everybody hears me. Georgia has turned blue 3 years in a row. Guys, there's no reason why Nebraska cannot turn blue. We have to handle our business, and we have to get people motivated. And this can't be just a 6 months. And so we know that this has to be a year-round thing. So just know we are looking at that plan. I'm talking to the Georgia executive director. Like, give me what's your blueprint? Like, we need what are y'all doing? But also, we know that it's not just the Democrats that are doing it. It's outside groups also that have a very, very huge presence. And so that's what we need to do, is we need to all start working collectively together, supporting those organizations that are outside of the Democratic Party or outside of the political atmosphere, and who are doing the work. We're registering voters, talking about the issues that are impacting communities, and we have to support those organizations. And so, like Kimra over at the Nebraska table, you now have Jaden at the Heartland Worker Center. You have Wyshell who's doing the work. You have so many people who are doing outside work outside of the political party. So we have to make sure that we are supporting them when they're out here doing that work. We need to be amplifying the work that they're doing also, because that's how we win elections.
Yep. And speaking of that, shout out to Kimra and the connection that she made with Black Voters Matter. Again, I reached out to the brother who started that organization down here, and that's kind of a flag that we've been waving here on First Sky Omaha, is connecting that Omaha and Atlanta relationship and that bridge. So, I want to let the audience know, like, that wave and that work that Precious is talking about, we're a part of that. Not only can we replicate it, but we're currently a part of it. So let's act, and I am proud to say that I am a Georgia voter. So, there you go.
Yeah.
Also, just happy for you, Precious. Soak up that sun. Glad to see you smile. I do want to say that.
Thank you, buddy. I mean, it's something that I'm glad to be able to smile today. But it was rough. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was hurt after that election, guys. I was hurt. But I had to pick my, on top of the hurt of the election, then I have, my personal issues. But every time when I look at, the support that I get, and then I see the conversation that we're having, it was a lot of attacks. I know y'all saw it, y'all see it. But all I say is that glory to God, because again, at the end of the day, I'm a Black woman doing this work. And I know it's going to be criticism, but when they check my work, all they can say is that she's doing the work. So to all the critics, what I want to do right now, I can't do, because everybody like, I can't believe she did that on the thing, but I'll just say, I'm still here.
Hey, and we appreciate you being here once again on your day off. You got up early and come on with us, so we really appreciate that. And I'm so glad you did, because I wanted to hear what you had to say about all of this, especially Warnock winning, and what that means in the Senate, and how that's connected to certain people around here that want to now run for a Senate seat, and surprise, and so on and so forth. So yeah, so give me your thoughts without getting yourself in trouble.
And I think you have thoughts on it, because this is my job, is to make sure that we tackle that seat that's now going to be opened by Ben Sass. So you have Ricketts. This is your follow the money moment. I want everybody to remember, follow the money. We've talked about this on this segment, on this show. Follow the money. So we see the investments that Ricketts did into Pillen's campaign. Now you have him now basically buying this seat, the Senate seat. Now, everybody
Violent.
says, Sass and Ricketts don't like each other. Look here. That is a perfect example of I don't like you in public, but behind closed doors, we doing business. So there's no way on God's green earth that Ben Sass did not let Ricketts know in advance that he was interviewing for this job in Florida.
Whoa.
And this right here shows how DeSantis, it shows how Ricketts, it shows how Sass. These are three people who are against Trump, are literally setting up DeSantis to run um, for president. I don't care what no
Wow.
one says.
DeSantis, DeSantis gonna run for president?
Because he's the governor of Florida.
Yeah.
He's a decision factor in how Sass got into that seat. He's the one who convened the board to vote that in. So again, this is your follow the money moment. So as I look back and I'm watching what's going on, it's number one, it's unethical, and I think it should be against the law for someone to invest so much and then basically are now appointed. I tell everybody, flood that website. Flood the website. Everybody apply for that appointment position. Everybody, if you feel you are qualified, apply for that position because it has no qualifications that you have to have. If you go look at the site, it only asks you what boards have you sat on, what political affiliation are you. It doesn't ask you nothing else. It just asks for your resume. Apply for that job because number one, that appointment, that Senate seat is supposed to be for the people. The fact that seat is now being purchased so that they can continue to fight against our voting rights, fight against our reproductive rights, attack our marriages, attack so much in the humankind. That's what they're doing. It's sick. So again, Ricketts paid for that seat. We know that he's going to be appointed to that seat. It's not a secret. I mean, it's going to happen. But the fact that he couldn't even beat Ben Nelson, his mom and daddy couldn't pay for him to beat Ben Nelson. He basically gets an easy seat. But the best part of this is that seat will open up again in 2024. He will have to run an election. Anybody can run for that seat because that seat has to, the way it's written, the rules are written, it has to open up. He can't complete the full term. He will only complete so much of the term. So right now, not only are we recruiting for who's going to run against Deb Fisher, we now have to recruit who's going to run again for that open seat. So that's 2 Senate seats. In 2024, we will have 2 Senate seats as well as Congress, President. We'll have a slew of seats that will be open in 2024, legislature. So I want everybody to really realize how important this is. If you have people that you feel should run for office or you feel is qualified to run for office, please send me a message so that we can start vetting people. We can start talking to people because again, we have to mobilize. I don't care what no one says. We have to.
Well, I'm gonna send you a message right now. I know somebody very qualified to run for some things.
You better not put my name on there.
Message? She right here. She right here, y'all. Precious McKesson. Precious McKesson is my message. I'm sending the message to you.
Well, I would just say this, and I'm not going to shy away from it. 2024 is in my wheelhouse to talk about running. I have I will not announce until most likely the spring, summer of what I'm going to run for. But just know that Precious is in talks. And I just have to I'm 85% there. I was just say I wasn't 85%. I was 60% maybe in August. But again, I have to get over these fears. There was a few fears that I had, and yes, Precious has a few fears. And I think it was more of just me just being insecure in certain areas. And I had to have a wake up moment. My mentor was like, "What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?" And I'm like they said, no longer dim your light for others. And I've been dimming my light for others. So General Electric, just to let y'all know, GE. Y'all see all that light behind me?
Con Edison.
See all this light behind me?
kind
I'm no longer dimming my light to make others feel comfortable in who they are. So,
you know what that is? Message.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. And we're right along with Sister Stephanie Smith. We support you 100%. Whatever you need, let us know.
thank you.
We need like Pop said a little earlier. We need Nebraska needs the Stacey Abrams clone.
Oh well,
I mean, I love me some Stacey. That's some big shoes to fill. She is one of my sheroes. Like I listen to whenever she's on a podcast. I read her books. I just realized that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and that's just fine with me because everybody don't like tea. But
some people shot a whiskey. That's what you are.
Yeah, I'm really starting to feel more comfortable in my skin as I start to see how this is going. We're somebody. I know Paul always tell me don't read the comments. Always tells me don't read the comments. So I'll let him say that, and then I will do that.
Respond.
That's fine. That you can respond. That's all good. I just like I'm just I'm tripping on it myself. Mark Manor says they also need to rename Bob Carey Dinner fundraiser to the Precious Dinner.
Hey. Oh well, not to the Precious Dinner. It has been renamed. If you look,
okay.
It's now the Ben Nelson Gala. If you go look on the website, we respected Bob's. That's all I will say. I'm not going to talk publicly about what's going on in the media, but we respected his decision. And we will be renaming the dinner. But again, we're here to win elections. Again, everybody is not everybody's cup of tea, and that is just fine with me, because at the end of the day, I am here to make sure that Black and brown people are at the table and have a say in our democracy. That is my job to do.
There you go. I do want to ask this question before we let you go, because it's your day off. You're ready for the beach, so we don't want to hold on to you for too long. But we have to talk about this while we're on this point, while we're on this topic, and something that I'm sure you're aware of and possibly going to be preparing for down there. But this Moore v. Harper Supreme Court case. Again, you're talking about bringing Black and brown voices to the table. This might be a hurdle to that. Just curious about your thoughts and maybe if for the audience who aren't familiar, put that in perspective.
Yes. So right now, what we're dealing with, or that's going to be heard in the Supreme Court, is basically giving the legislature power to be able to change the electoral. So this really goes back to kind of like when I cast electoral vote, where they felt the legislature can then basically change the electors to reflect the popular vote. And so then they can then choose people, and then it goes back into gerrymandering, like the different things. So we need to be watching that really closely, because number one, that was something that came up again during the 2020 election, was does the legislature have the power to change who the electors are? So in that case, I was like, basically they could have changed my electoral vote, or changed my position and had somebody else cast a vote from the Republican Party rather than it be me. So as a Democrat. So that is something that we need to be closely watching, because again, it's a form of voter suppression. They want to give the legislature, basically the states, the power to be able to change this. And so that's why you see so many people running for Secretary of State, so many Republicans running for Secretary of State. That's why you see why the legislature is so important. But I'm confident that hopefully our Supreme Court justice will see through that, and that they will argue a good case to be able to not rule in that favor. Because again, this was based off of, if you go follow, it's based off of the North Carolina is the forefront in this. And there's also a few people who are affiliated with the Trump organization who are affiliated with this.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
I'm a little bit lost. I need to look. I didn't look all the way through the article on that one. So, when we after we let you go, we'll definitely go through that article so we can get a little bit more context on it. But I'm glad we got what you
definitely look through it. Through it. And also, I mean, we have so much. I know people were like talking about the 17 firewall. We know, yes, we have 17 Democrats in the legislature, in the Nebraska legislature, and we know that there's some issues and some bills that we were going to have to really fight. And we know that there's some that that we have to make sure are on the same and following the Democratic platform. But again, that I've been saying this. That's not the only thing that's in the legislature. We still have other things that we have to that they work on in the legislature. So I know I've seen a lot of pushback. We're like, it's not a firewall. Well, technically, it is a firewall when it comes to the other ones. We know those real crucial bills like abortion. Those are the bills that we know we're going to have to fight a little bit harder to make sure that we maintain our firewall. Make sure that that the Democrats down there are voting on behalf of the Democrat platform. We know we had that fight, but this is where the Democrats we are there to get those elected, and then we have the organizations who really fight hard to make sure that policy and make sure that these senators are doing the work. So we know what we're up against, but then this is where we need to make sure that we're giving support to those organizations who are then doing the fight within the legislature, making sure that bills are being passed according to what everyday Nebraskans want, not according to what a specific party wants. So I just wanted to make that known that, because I've seen a lot of pushback on it, and we understand it. But again, that's not the only bill that is passing through the legislature. There's more bills that pass the legislature. That just might be one of our more priority bills when it comes to the ban on banning working on the to keep them from trying to ban abortion.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, guns rights is up there with that too. So yeah, a lot of fights ahead of us, and again, we'll talk about this this Moore v. Harper case more, because it's even more than the electors. It's how the states again elect also the senators and set up elections for presidents. So this could dictate a lot of things as far as states' rights, and my ears always perks up when I hear states arguing state rights, because I know that was an argument used to justify slavery. So it's like,
yeah. So I mean, we're watching everything. I have to keep my blood pressure down, because I know that there is people who don't vote according to the Democratic platform. And if you're interested in our platform, you can go to nebraskademocrats.com, nebraskademocrats.org, and it has our platform in there. And that's the platform that Democrats should be following. Honestly, that is what we need to be looking. We need to start holding Democrats accountable to the platform, because that's why we vote. That's why we vote for the platform, because it represents the values for Democrats in Nebraska, and independents in Nebraska. So, yes, Marion, I am very, very, Marion, I'm sorry, I am very, very in tune with what you're saying, and we are very much so talking. And as executive director, there are certain things I can and can't say, because I have to remain respectful. But if you get me offline and have coffee with me, I have no problem with speaking how I feel.
And for those of you on Facebook, they can't see the YouTube comment she's referring to. Marianne Williams says the problem is Mike McDonald, Democrat, votes Republican on most bills, not just a few. Mike McDonald supports permitless concealed carry as a one. Yeah. So yeah, and she says none of this is your fault, P, for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. We've seen, the comments, the blame, and I was taking it personal, y'all. I was really taking this personal this last month, and I literally had to sit down and say, what the, what,
Right.
these are the same people that are criticizing, who say they believe in Black lives, but here I am as a Black woman, as executive director, being attacked because of my voice, and because of the way I feel, or because somebody didn't win. Look here, a candidate signs up to run an election. I'm not a campaign manager. I'm an executive director.
Right.
Okay? I am not nobody's campaign manager. I am here to support them and give them the necessary tools to win. If you don't take those tools and you don't go hammer, you can't build a shed, and you can't have shelter. That is on you, not me.
There you go.
There you go.
So true.
Precious drops the mic.
Well, they say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
There you go.
I mean,
I'm looking in the chat. Everybody's like, shine bright like a diamond. Let's get uncomfortable talking about you running, talking about supporting you. They said they also Somebody said also. Ty Williams says I said Kimra Zuri Snipes. She's somebody else that we can talk about running. Pop says my Stacey Abrams comment was about things that Nebraska could do to be like Georgia in making the change from red to blue. Another motivator like her could be invaluable. When I think about my heroes, though, I think you were right along with Stacey Abrams, Precious. I got to tell you.
Thank you.
Well, I know I'm up close and personal watching what it is that you're doing, so that informs a lot of what I know. But I'm sure there's some other heroes out there too that I don't know, that I don't see. But but when I'm thinking about that, that's what I'm thinking of for sure.
Yeah,
Vicky
I mean, I appreciate that because right now, I say this, and I'm very transparent in public. We have a lot of people who are intimidated by women in the Democratic Party. They're intimidated by the way we speak. They are intimidated that they cannot tell us to shut up. They are so used to the women being seen but not heard. Baby, we talk back, okay? My ancestors would be doing a 360 if I did not talk back in some of the things that were happening. So we speak. We speak, and we command, and we control tables. We are the heads of the tables, okay? And I think that's what we're starting to see in Nebraska, is that people are pushing back because they're losing that control. They're losing that power, and the power that they thought they had. And now we are making a change, and they're not ready for change. But baby, change is coming.
Well, I heard that, and we gonna here to talk about it, here to tell it. First Sky Omaha, it loves what we call grown women. Exactly what you just described. That's what we're about. As a matter of fact, I already booked the date for the Benson Theater for us to put on what I'm going to call the first annual Women in Power dinner. Because I got too many friends like you that are CEOs and EDs and stuff of now, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I got a nice little list going on, and we're gonna celebrate that.
Well, I appreciate it,
because we come from a culture like you said, the women stand up. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. No. We have to start standing up. We have to start speaking, because we're not speaking like we're not speaking false information. We're talking about facts. And we have to understand that, again, there is things that impact our communities that we have to stand for. We cannot ask for black and brown communities to vote, and then we don't support them when it comes time to help them be able to create generational wealth, come out of poverty, be able to feed their families, be able to have good, proper health care, be able to have access to transportation so that they can get to these jobs. We can't turn our backs on them. We can't do that. And I think for so long, people have been able to just say what they want to say, and then they disappear. And we can't do that, because it's now starting to show. Our vote is so powerful, and I know I say this all the time. Our vote is so powerful, but not only do we have to continue that vote, we have to make sure that we have people in place who are going to continue to be our voice. Because again, everybody can't be elected. But you are able to elect people into certain seats and make sure you have representation, because it matters. Those people will continue to speak. Senator Terrell McKinney is a prime example of that. He is a prime example of that. And if we can continue to put people in place, we have Brianna Fool, we have a new generation in the school board now. We have a younger voice on the school board who's not 20 years out from the impact of what happened to her when she was a student. So she can speak on this stuff now, and that's where people have to understand. They have to stop being gatekeepers and not letting us in, because we're coming. So if either you let us in, or we're going to come and take it. And I think that's what we're doing now. We're taking it. We're no longer asking for permission. You can't tell us when we can and can't run. You can't tell us when we can and can't speak. And again, y'all, this is me. I was dimming my light for so many people. Don't dim your light for nobody. Shine so bright, because I promise you, when you don't dim that light, and when you realize what you were doing, you can't dim your light to make other people comfortable.
Message. Thanks for joining us, man. So thank you. I'm so grateful to you for just taking your day off and coming and speaking with us, and just for everything you do. And I can't tell you how happy I am to know that you got a bikini on under that and you about to hit that beach. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm
Go,
excited.
go.
I don't know. I may have lost my seat, but I don't care. I don't care if I have to be on the edge of the sand. As long as I can see the water and I can see some sand, I'm happy.
I hear
Hey, soak
that.
it up. Soak it up.
Get some of that sunshine. That's what's
Get
up.
that melanin right.
Hey.
I feel like everybody outside, they want to be this color, look on a gloss in it and get some melanin in me and put some more in me. Everybody else sitting out there longer. I don't have to sit out there that long.
Charge it up.
I am so jealous. I wish I was there with you right now. I'll tell you that. One day we'll get some sun in the wintertime. That's what it's all about.
We need to do it. We need to plan a first sky. Since we're doing all these different things, we need to plan a first sky retreat, and maybe we can all get together, get a travel agent, and we can all come out. I think that's what we need to do, and just start doing a first sky family. Anybody can come, and just everybody come and just sit on the beach, and maybe we'll stream live some.
Hey.
You're reading our minds. You're reading our minds. That's what's up.
The view does it. Why can't we do it?
Exactly. we know we need a retreat.
Hey.
Yes.
That's what's up. Thank you again so much. Really, really appreciate you. Can't tell you how
y'all.
much.
I appreciate y'all. I love all y'all, and I'll see y'all soon.
Love. Enjoy your vacation or enjoy your time at the beach.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Peace. Yeah, let's take a quick break. Come on back, man. Whoo, man.
Charged up.
Always charged up when Precious is on. Stay tuned. First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. We'll be retreating right near the beach.
Hey, right near the beach.
Yeah. What up? Welcome back. Hey. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddy to God, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners, thanks for joining us. Remember, we are going exclusively over to YouTube during season 5. Wanda Lewis said the retreat needs to be sometime between December 16th and January 16th.
Okay.
So on our break,
yeah.
it might be a good time to go do a little First Sky Omaha kickback at the beach.
Right near the beach.
Yeah, man. Let's do it. Let's start planning beginning of next season. I'm with it. If you guys we got any party planners, any trip planners and stuff like that in the chat timers, let us know. We can always use the help on putting something like that together. And I'm so down for it. Down.
I mean, you remember Audrey from Malcolm X? She used to do the tours. Yeah, she has she's a travel agent now.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, that's what she does. Might need to tap in with her. But I'm excited to see that, some of the first Skyers chat chimers are interested in something like that. That it's funny that Precious said that. It's actually something that Paul and I have been talking about for some time now. So yeah.
And let me tell you something. Our right near the beach ain't just gonna be us sitting around think tanking. I like what you're saying, Amy Huffles. We're gonna do some of that. But you're looking at a couple of DJs here. It's about to be a bees on the beach when we get over there. So look, we turn it up. On top of that, there's a thing that happens in Mexico every year called Mi Casa, and it's a festival of house music. A lot of black DJs go to, and they spend a week there to get a bungalow, that type of deal, man. So I always wanted to do a little Mi Casa Ibiza style deal. Something like that would be super dope. Hit Mexico, you know what I'm saying? Hit Puerto Vallarta or something like that, man, and Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
New Najee was like, let's go. I heard that. Let's do it.
Okay.
With that, I'm with it. Christy Norris says, "Here y'all, here y'all are. Good morning. Oh, you found us over there on YouTube. Appreciate that very much. Yeah, we're broadcasting just YouTube and First Sky Omaha, the Facebook page. That's going to end on the 16th, and then we'll be exclusively over at YouTube after that. Um, unless I might figure something out so we can still get over to First Sky for y'all that want to stay over there. So we'll figure something out. But yeah, pretty much going to be focusing on YouTube. They have a lot more stability, a lot more ability for the chats to be enhanced, and so on and so forth. So we'll figure it out. Mark Manner says these old dudes, and I realize my age, like Carrie Ashford, Ashford Rip. Oh yeah, R.I.P. R.J. Neary and such need to step aside.
Mm.
Yeah, those are the cats with money though. So it's like it's tough because I know some of those names you just mentioned. I know 3 or 4 organizations and groups and individuals that are hitting them up for money to try to do the things that they're trying to do. A lot of times the old dudes got it. So maybe step aside, but maybe be a part of something that somebody else is able to run. I'm not. I don't know what the answer is there.
I mean, the way I put it is not necessarily step aside, but get in the back seat and let somebody younger drive. You know what I'm saying? So the old head can be like, hey, you might need to take a left right there, but you're not necessarily driving, slowing everybody down. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. There you go. Rose reviews. Mira Sanchez says, "Listening to Precious makes me want to put my dukes up and puff my chest out." I heard that.
Hey, like I said, charged up. Wind me up.
Wind me up. It is 8:01 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, you're now in the second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
We're also in the second year of First Sky Omaha in the morning as well.
Hey.
This is our 2-year anniversary as of today. 2 years ago today, we entered the void and started broadcasting live on Facebook. And here we are 2 years later, and it has morphed into a conversation with you, with groups that we call Chat Chimers, First Sky Omaha Family. That's what this is all about. This discussion group. We started off 2 years ago, kind of like a morning show from a radio station, which is how we got started. And that's kind of one sided, just putting out information. But man, going live stream and gathering up the First Sky fam and having these conversations regularly is what has really built what we have today. And that's an organization that we are proud of. We're proud to be able to have a family of organizers and people that want to come through and talk, come up with some solutions and take action on some of these things that are affecting our lives.
Man.
So I can't wait for that. As a matter of fact, I got a call from, just speaking of people taking action, I got a call from Jakeem Fox, who's going to be on our show on Friday. He's going to talk all about the Black Gun Club that just started up. It's a club that is brought to you by Black Agenda Alliance and Amendment. I think that's the name of this Black Gun Club that he's talking about promoting. They're going to have their first meeting coming up at the Culture House. I think that's Saturday, December 17th, 10:30 to 12 at the Culture House. So if you are about the guns, come and check it out, man. I mean, we talk about these things all the time. Buddy was just saying there's a lot of things setting up, especially when they start talking about states' rights
Man.
that could lead to some kind of civil war happening. So there's some of us that are not going to just sit around and let militia groups come out and mess with us. And so here you are, firearm safety and usage seminar, and you got some people, you have some experts that's going to host this, and it's going to be Saturday, December 17th, 10:30 to 12 at the Culture House. I want to check into it. Joaquin will be on the show Friday to talk more about it, and so we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really
some
quickly,
furniture moving.
oh yeah, some tables turning. But really quickly, I think that was the OBGC, the or OGB or yeah, OBGC, Omaha Black Gun Club was that
Omaha
other
Black.
organization.
Oh, okay. Is that what it
Yeah,
said?
yeah, OBGC
Oh, yeah, I
Amendment.
see
Yep,
it
yep,
now.
yep.
Got it.
Omaha Black Gun Club. So,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah. Shout out to Jakeem B. Sangin and the brothers and sisters over at the BAA.
And
Yeah. This is definitely.
Joaquin be shooting now too.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, man. That's what's up. Yeah, Black Dynamite System. There'll be some furniture moving. I heard that. Chrissy Norris says, and the white women in politics need be loud about their support for black folks running for office. I mean, screaming their support. That's what's up. I will accept that. I will accept that is something that white women in politics need to do. That's what's up. Appreciate that very much. Black Dynamite says, like I said, if Precious, Kimmer, and Simone Sanders get offices, there's gonna be some major furniture moving around. That's what's up,
man. Yeah, that's the Trinity right there for you.
Yeah, man. There's some voices. Mark Batter said it earlier too, man. That's the answer. More women in power. More women running stuff for sure. So yeah, look for that. Look for that. I already started on the planning of that. The first annual Women Power Dinner that I'm trying to organize here with First Sky Omaha with Vincent Theater, and just kind of celebrate what's going on there. There's a lot of friends of mine, and it could just be my age too, but a lot of friends of mine, a lot of peers that are finding places where they are running organizations in big ways, and there's not enough attention that's on them. There's not enough attention. I know that they have. I know we got Girls Inc. I know we got a lot of different organizations that teach girls to go for power, but it's also good to kind of celebrate who's in power, who's doing what, as well, and recognize that in the way that we want to recognize that. So we'll be looking for that. 2023 is going to be bringing a whole lot of events and things that we're planning on doing coming this coming new year. So stay tuned for a lot of that.
It's not just your age either, man. Like it's some of my peers. Look at Imani over at Idol Vital. Look at Trishana over at Mixins. There's some young women out making moves as well. So yeah, shout out to all the women making waves, making moves. We support you.
That's right. That's what's up. Let's go on and move on to some new things here. I haven't heard from Kimmer. I'm not sure what's going on with Kimmer right now. We were expecting her to come through a little bit early, but have not heard from her yet. So I'll try to reach out to her via text while we jump into some other stories, because there's plenty of news to talk about today in some big ways. So, buddy, what's up? What's next on the agenda?
Man, well, before we get out of too much time, I do want to talk more about this Supreme Court case, because again, there's a lot at stake with this, and Precious touched on it, but really it's just kind of the tip of the iceberg as far as what Precious addressed in regards to how electors are chosen. But again, for those who aren't familiar, the case is the Moore v. Harper case. Again, this is the Moore v. Harper case, which is going before the Supreme Court. And just to give a little background, as Precious mentioned, this does stem back to the 2020 election. And if you remember, just to put it in perspective, Paul, I'm sure you remember the whole fight for the blue dot situation that we were in, very heavy in 2020, and just trying to make sure that, again, the blue dot, i.e. CD2, and hopefully that blue dot would have spread to more of a blue wave across Nebraska, but just to fight to save that blue dot. We weren't the only ones embroiled in that fight. Of course, North Carolina, where this specific court case stems from, they had their own issues of gerrymandering, and Republicans in North Carolina actually tried like 2 or 3 times to pass a map that would undoubtedly give Republicans a very, very unfair majority as far as support and constituency, if you will. Again, they were by all means trying to gerrymander the votes in North Carolina, and they even pushed that case and tried to push their map all the way to the Supreme Court of North Carolina, and they did not get any relief, did not get any victories. Therefore, that's how this whole situation found its way into the Supreme Court. In essence, grand old party lawmakers in North Carolina are arguing that the Supreme Court or the courts, not even just the Supreme Court, but the courts of North Carolina are overstepping their bounds by trying to tell them how they can formulate elections. And this all goes back to what's called, one second, get the right theory. It's called the independent state legislature theory. This is something that's coming out of the Constitution that states that it gives powers to legislatures of each state to dictate. The term is the times, places, and manner encompassing elections in regards to senates and representatives and presidents. So again, the whole argument is that state legislatures are trying to maintain power and dictate how elections are made. And you got to know that this is coming from the whole a fake, false election, false election argument from Republicans from the Trump election and from the Biden, really the Biden election, Trump attempt. And unfortunately, there are some justices who are entertaining this idea and actually supporting this idea. And to give you even more context, the last time this idea was even made relevant, was even brought up, was back in 2000 during the Bush v. Gore election. And you remember all of the hoopla surrounding that, like, Florida. So again, that was the last time that this was used. And now it is making a return right in time again for Trump's reelection in 2024. So there is a lot at stake with this situation. And as I mentioned earlier, when we were talking to Precious, my ears always perk up when I hear these types of arguments, especially when they make it to the Supreme Court, because again, states' rights was used to defend slavery. So anytime, state individuals come up and really banging that states' rights bill, I mean, I understand checks and balances, but this ain't that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's definitely one of these things to keep, one of those cases to keep your eye on. And what also, like, what do you guys know? Because this is coming to my attention, especially when it comes to talking about stuff that has to do with states' rights. What do you guys know about, besides the fact that they use states' rights, that was used for slavery back in the day? What's been going on lately that has to do with people pushing for states' rights for certain reasons? I'm thinking education right off the top of my head.
Mhm.
They're really trying to push taking over education, taking over school boards and stuff like that in order to keep out certain things that they don't want taught.
Abortion.
Um, Abortion's another one. Yeah, yeah. So everything is interesting how we kind of figured out along the way in the last couple months about how much power the governorship really holds, even more so than the president, when it comes to things that's going on in our everyday life. And you see a strategic move here to make sure that there's certain governors in place, in order for, and then these kinds of fights start happening, so that governors will be able to be able to control more what happens in the state.
Mm-hmm.
And like Buddy was saying, but like you said earlier, you use the National Guard. You use the National Guard in order to get some things, in order to push some agendas as well. That could very well lead to civil war and all kinds of stuff. So, Sean McCarthy says it's also been used for rights restrictions, like an example, like let states decide abortion laws or gay marriage. Right, restrictions, especially restrictions. I'm thinking a lot. I'm thinking a lot of things that
And
are
laws.
top of mind. Right.
Yeah. So again, this is all at stake. Man, I mean, the democracy itself is at stake because this is a step in that direction. Again, we get wide variation in state laws, and certain states, want to do X, and certain states want to do Y, and it just becomes a slippery slope. I'll say that to keep it clean. It becomes a very, very slippery slope. So this is again, just without wanting to having to dive into it too much, because we can get into the weeds of constitutional interpretation and things like that. But just want to make the listeners aware. This is another case. This is right up there with Roe v. Wade. And this is kind of the continuation of that, because the whole overturn Roe v. Wade, the change was giving states more autonomy. So it's going right along with the state right conversation. So again, pay attention, y'all. Pay attention, and this can definitely be a hurdle for people, trying to run, and how elections are run ahead of 2024. And that's really the main thing that I'm looking at with this, and the impact that I think this will have. Again, Trump is running again in 2024. There's already, some questionable things going on surrounding the election process. People want to change how elections are being done. If this court case goes how, the grand old party wants it to go, they can have more power to do that. So yeah, be vigilant, be aware.
Wanda Lewis in the chat says they even mentioned biracial marriages. Something
Yeah.
else in control. Sean McCarthy says, but obviously there are rights that should be recognized without a geographic boundary. We can't have a country where one state is the equivalent of the laws in Afghanistan and another state has similar rights to the Netherlands. It's definitely leaning in that direction. I mean, I'm thinking Colorado, Nebraska, just right now.
Mm.
Just you know what I'm saying? Or think about how different Seattle and Georgia is right now. You know, like like it definitely feels like that. But I think you're right. You know, in order to be, if you're a United States, then you're going to be united in mostly what's going on.
Right.
Otherwise, I mean, you know, hey, I've lived in Europe for a little while, and it's like each country is as big as a state. So you travel
Yeah.
from one, you know, the way that you travel from state to state here, you travel from country to country over there, and you know, they be warring against each other and stuff. So I mean, like in that kind of close proximity, it's not unheard of.
No, not at all. Not at all. And again, that's yes, I'm glad you made that comparison because that's how I view this country. It really is like Europe is just the relationships are different, but based on these types of arguments, it can easily slip into that type of situation. Again, we had two countries. Like when the South seceded, like they had their own government, they had their own currency, they had their own president. Like that was a real. They had their own army. That was a real thing, and the states can decide to do that again. That is a real thing. If they again, if their states' rights are supported enough, they can definitely do that.
Something to think about.
Yeah, because
Something to get ready for.
yeah, because I don't think that'll be a peaceful transition. I'll say that.
Yeah. Wanda Lewis says, seems like we're going back in time. It's said that history repeats itself. We shouldn't have to fight the same battles for the same rights. Shouldn't have to, but I think what will, you know, if it's one of those things, you don't keep up the fight, then it's kind of inevitable that it's going to go in certain directions.
Yeah.
It's a constant fight. You know, it's. I know what you mean. It's like it's rough because you get no rest. You can't just be like, okay, whew, wasn't that, you know, Roe versus
Mhm.
Wade was one of those where I was just like, okay, well, this just set. This just, you know, they did all that work to make it the law. It's set, and who would have thought we'd be in a situation now where we saw something like that overturned? You know, and I just use that as an example. It's like, well, you're right. That's why we're actually talking about biracial marriages, interracial marriages. We're talking about you know, uh, marriage in general, just marriage, the rights of married people, of who can get married and all kinds of stuff. Amy Huffman says the insurrection was a glimpse. Yeah. You I don't know if I still have that graphic, but you know, there was times when there was insurrections that have happened before
Mhm.
by different groups, you know, and we can talk about that back in back in history. You know, you're right. The insurrection was a glimpse when you think about it like that. That kind of stuff was going down before the Civil War happened. You know that they were fighting like that. They were fighting. Each state was fighting like a country, and groups of states would get together, especially in the South. So yeah, you know when you compare what's going on to then, you can kind of see that whole lot of parallels, and try to figure out what to do about it because since we have that close of an example, how can we protect ourselves? How can we what can we do?
Yeah.
You know, we one thing I never did. Wasn't ever really a history buff in school, but
Mm.
one thing you can say about school and what you learn in history in school, in our school system, is you learn a lot about revolution. You learn a lot about insurrection. You learn a lot about uh, forging. You know what you got to do to protect yourself from the government and all. You know, a lot of stuff. A lot of we've seen it all. We've heard it all. And if we make one connection, that's what's going on right now. Woo! What do? You
Yeah.
see, you know, you think about Jewish people that left Germany and went to America because something was brewing. Not because it was already warring, not because Hitler was already killing folks, because it sounded like he was about to start, and people started to say, let me get out of town because I can see where this is going. And sometimes I think about this place like that.
I mean, that's part of why Michelle went to Ghana. That's
So
part of
true.
it. So yeah, again, this is not to instoke fear. This is not to do any of that. This is to make us aware so you can prepare. And that's it.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
8:20 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, once again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All be, buddy to God, all of you. I see some people in the chat that are already talking about some things that we'll talk about in the haps. So we'll definitely talk about those things coming up. Let's take a quick little breather, quick little smell of the coffee beans and come back. Definitely got some more things to talk about. It's a big news day today, as a matter of fact. So we'll definitely talk about some more things. And again, if you did not miss Kimber Snipes, she was not on today. I'm reaching out to her now to try to find out if she's okay. Everything's all right. Haven't heard back quite yet. But we will continue to find out what's going on with her. I think she's probably just digging deep with the new team she showed us about last week, and getting some work done knowing her. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All be, buddy to God, all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, stay tuned. Oh yeah. Pop's theme too. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All be, buddy to God. What's going on, y'all?
Hey.
How y'all feeling today on this hump day? Y'all still fired up from Precious? I know I am, for sure. Rose Review says, if I'm not mistaken, the laws were written to make it illegal for people of color to marry whites. It wasn't illegal for whites to marry people of color. I don't know. Anything that I would be interested in learning about, except for now we're stepping into a time frame when I guess we're gonna have to learn about it again, because it might be something that's on the table.
Man.
Wanda Lewis says, I seen Kimmer at the city council meeting yesterday. I watched it on the internet because they cut the sound on TV. What? They cut the sound? That's interesting. Yeah, working on a new agenda, affordable housing. That's what's up.
Yeah, I did see her post from the city council meeting. She was kind of. Did you see that post? She was making faces behind one of the landlords who was, of course, being a landlord.
And she was talking to Manny about town. And he had his hands in his face, like,
man, like this fool right here. But actually, let's go ahead and dive into that affordable housing. I'm glad she is working on a new agenda with that. Because it's still an ongoing issue, an ongoing conversation in the community. And it seems like more families are going to need that, as some actual programs have been cut back in the community. This coming out of KETV. As reported, Heartland Family Services is scaling back on some of their services following a cycle which some of their nonprofit philanthropists and donors have pulled back their funding, and they have to respond. And this is something, as Paul mentioned earlier in the show, that we are all too familiar with. But again, it means real implications for those in need. Heartland Family Services President John Janetta said funding ups and downs are part of the nature of nonprofit work. However, he worries about cutting housing programs at a time when housing costs have gone up and it has already been difficult to help clients put a roof over their heads. But it's not only the clients that may be in trouble. There are also some employees that can find themselves in need. The nonprofit also notified workers that 30 people will be laid off over the course of 2023 because of the loss of some $3 million over the upcoming year. Again, that financial shortfall is a result of private philanthropic funding being pulled back. And Janetta went on to say, sometimes we can anticipate them and sometimes not. This time we actually have some notice that a funder has made a decision to move in a different direction, causing, again, Heartland Family Services to also have to pivot. Although some housing programs will be eliminated entirely, Janetta hopes to help fill some open positions with people whose current jobs are disappearing. Like so many organizations, they have run into recruiting roadblocks this year. Janetta says it's really caused a lot of hurt and pain, especially our operating budget has not performed well at this year. Again, Heartland Family Services was one of the organizations that also helps with child welfare cases. They were one of the organizations contracted to assist St. Francis Ministries, and are now working with the Department of Health and Human Services. But yeah, again, we see the pitfalls of the nonprofit side of things that we always talk about. So many nonprofits in the Omaha area, and these are definitely a pitfall. Like, nonprofits serve their purpose, they have a point, they have a place, but things like this, when the big billionaires decide that they want to do something else, then people suffer.
Yeah. Also, word on the street is that Heartland Family Services is a big mess.
Yeah. Again, my wife used to work for Heartland Family Services, so I've kind of seen the inner workings and how things go. And yeah, I mean, and I will say that based on my perspective and just from through my wife, that St. Francis Ministries really changed things a lot. Really changed things a lot for, again, Heartland Family Services, who was contracting under St. Francis Ministries to do some of those contracts and to do, and she was just working in that area. And I would hear some things from her about other services and programs that Heartland Family Services had. So yeah, I mean, I've heard that as well.
Wanda Lewis says everyone is chasing the same funding. She was saying this earlier. She was saying, a funder can come in and just decide they're going to pull out, and then that's all. That's it for the organization.
Yep.
A lot of times. So unless they found some kind of way in order to sustain themselves later, this is what we push for all the time. We know this personally firsthand. We got a little grant from the White's family to kind of keep things rolling and all that. But we are constantly. I mean, that's with the caveat that we're trying to figure out how to make this thing sustainable. Which your reoccurring donations help do that, and we build that up, and that'll make it so that we're not dependent on that. We are First Sky Omaha is a little different because we do this. We gonna come out our own pocket to make this thing happen, whether we get funded or not. So because we're moving towards that sustainability. A lot of other organizations don't really have that luxury because they're really only leaning on philanthropy money. And that's the problem, because as soon as the philanthropist decides to pull his money out, you might not have an organization after that. And we've seen that firsthand a couple times already within the last 4 or 5 years. So yeah, this is kind of interesting. This is why some of this stuff, the reputation of these places are in question. The one, when we talked about the contract that one of those organizations had with the government. And we were looking into Pete Ricketts and his family, who was that whole fiasco with
St. Francis.
St. Francis. Yeah, the reputation of that place is shot, and by association, and also by business model. I mean, I'm seeing the business model here is the real thing there. Why you can't run an organization that helps families and kids and just depend on philanthropy money for that. What if they pull that out? People depend on these services. People depend on being able to be housed and so on and so forth. I mean, that's rough. Wanda Lewis says some philanthropists peep your game, be on your board, duplicate your program. That happens all the time too. Put you out of business. Here's Kimmer coming in, says, "Oh man, I apologize. I really thought y'all were on break. No, we don't go to break till the 16th. So sorry we missed you today, but we still got opportunity to have you back on before we get out of here for the break. But thanks for coming on in now. But yeah, man, what a point. What a point right there. How many times have we seen that happen? They come in, so they even jack the people that you got working for you sometimes and have start a whole new program. That's happened to me personally, where they were like, "Hey, come on in. Can you do Paul's job? Come on in. And we'll do this again."
Yeah, they tried it. But yeah, that's real. Or you got some elected officials who might come in and direct some attention and some support to your organization just so they can get elected and use that for their election cycle. And then once they get elected, all the support goes away. So it's not just the philanthropist. It's all of it. So yeah, that's interesting, very interesting, and again, that's why we operate the way we operate. We do partner with nonprofits, but that is not our end all be all, and yeah, it shouldn't be.
Nah, and really, there's no way that you can do your thing fully if you're dependent on anybody else but the people who are of like mind and support. So it is what it is. But I mean, it goes a long way to say about what some organizations are interested in and what they want to do and how they want to help and so on and so forth. But I mean,
Mhm.
we've seen it firsthand, bro. I'm even sitting here thinking about the most recent version of people trying to do this show
Nah.
and the backing and
Oh.
the money that they've raised for that from organizations that stole ideas from you personally.
Yeah, we're not gonna say any names or speak on it, but it happens. It happens. It happens. It happens.
Even the little old us.
Man, it's real. It's real. But it is what it is. Like
Self sustainability.
that part.
We need to
That part.
pull ourselves up out of poverty, be self sustained. I mean, that's really what it's all about, man. Is you being in control of your own dollars and your own, your own finances. You handle your money. Watch your money. What does Miss Erica Phelps say all the time? And keep your eye on your dollar, so it's not keeping. They're not whatever she said.
Directing you, direct your dollars so they're not directing you, I
Correct
think.
you.
Right,
Yeah,
right, right,
exactly.
right, right, right. And also, I think of something that you mentioned, Paul, in regards to nonprofits. Like nonprofits aren't supposed to be planned for the long haul. Like it's supposed to
Yeah.
address the issue, serve the issue, hopefully fix the issue, and then dissolve. But
And
we don't
so
see that.
we don't see that. And also, what we don't talk about too much too is if you're a sound foundation, if you're an organization that is doing what you're supposed to do, if you are giving money to an organization, you better have that organization better have a plan for sustainability, because if you're a foundation giving money away, you're not setting stuff up to give money away forever. You're trying to help that organization become self-sustained. You're supposed to give them a kind of kick up so they can get going and then get self-sustained. The two organizations that we've gotten nonprofit dollars with require us to have a plan to be self-sustained so that we're not asking them for money every year. That's just not even how the thing's supposed to work. So
Man,
if you're an organization that just is planning on just getting nonprofit dollars every year, then I don't know. It's more that now we're talking about charity. We're not talking
that part.
so much about you're right. So yeah, so there's a lot to talk about here with that. Kimra Snipes in the chat talking about the city council. She said the city council meeting was off the chain yesterday. She had notes and everything. We'll have to talk about that another time. But she's talking throwing out some names here. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Holler at Myron Pierce from Own the Pond. Oh yeah, I've been wanting to talk to the Own the Pond cats.
What's that?
There's a organization that I believe they're out of Omaha. Are they out of Omaha?
Yeah,
Kim,
the Myron Pierce name is familiar. I'm just not familiar with Own the Pond.
talk about building wealth. It's kind of
Okay.
on that earn your leisure tip.
Okay.
Um, yeah, they talk about don't just be a you. I think it's about like being big fish in a small pond. Own the pond. Kimmer Snipes says, and Dale Gines. I've been seeing a lot from Dale Gines too online. Just some of the stuff that he's talking about, and in some of his lectures and stuff like that too. Lots of people. He's a pastor with Mission Church. Okay.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Yeah,
Yep.
that's what's up. I would love to talk to the Own the Podcast for sure. Hopefully, I'll try to get him in before this season is up, because it's kind of that keep your eye, watch the money situation. So I
Mhm.
definitely would like to talk to them about some of the things that's happening there for sure. But that's what this is about to me. It's about like having ownership, which is the reason why it's interesting. We're 2 years into First Sky Omaha as of today. Today's our 2 year anniversary, and we took that step because we wanted some ownership over what it is that we're doing, and we wanted to be able to do it how we wanted to do it. So that's always been kind of the underlying reason and the underlying answer to a lot of stuff. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Michael Watson in the chat. I missed your comment earlier. You were saying about the Omaha Star and also the what was it the Urban League
NAACP. NAACP.
NAACP. Yeah, used to do news on stuff. And they definitely changed their format on that. I think that's one of the reasons why we're trying to do what we're doing too. You in the chat right now saying North Omaha did Del Gines wrong. Wow, wow. I'd like to hear that story. But yeah, man, that's we're trying to bring some of that kind of stuff back. Being able to talk about news in our own neighborhoods. We haven't really talked too much about the situation with noise, and not really gonna say much on it until we talk to some of the people that are involved and make sure that they either. I'm not sure if what's happening with them right now. So
Right, right.
we'll definitely talk to them and find out. But they were an organization that was doing that. We were as First Sky Omaha are working on stepping up a little bit more on the news division for next year as well, and also and yeah, and always in talks with TD Sanders. Always talking to her. She's definitely doing some stuff and doing some reports and stuff like that live on the air on social media. I think she's also on
Spotify. So Spotify.
Spotify now, yeah. So she does some updates. Everybody's trying to find funding really to do this thing, kind of put it out there to get some of that the ARPA funds going towards Black media. Put the application out to do that, and so we'll see if we get an answer back on that. If the team that is making those decisions feel like the Black media is worthy of some of those dollars to try to make that to try to boost that area up. But we're looking for it. Whitney Richardson says, "Happy anniversary, guys. I hope y'all are proud of this amazing platform that you built. Thank you. Appreciate it
Definitely.
so much." Wanda Lewis says, "What bothers me is that some of these organizations request funding from the city, turn back tax, ARPA, etc. Then they turn around and sponsor other events and projects. Do they really need money that could be beneficial somewhere else within our community?"
Hmm.
Good question.
That is a good question. I find it interesting that you pointed that out as far as these organizations' use of ARPA funds and things like that. Because in regards to this Heartland Family Services article, that is kind of where they went. Janetta, who is again the CEO of Heartland Family Services, says the CARES Act did help them sustain their work, but Heartland Family Services will not have access to that aid next year. So to your point, now that a lot of that money has dried up, not only are Heartland Family Services struggling or looking at a rough 2023. But it looks like many nonprofits across the board apparently we're all applying and using these funds to stay afloat. And now that that's dried up, they're looking to pivot and they're kind of struggling to what to do. Together Omaha is another one of those organizations. And one of their officials is saying, as we look at 2023, really across all nonprofits, a lot of different programs, when you look at food insecurity and housing, the financial picture for 2023 is pretty rough. A lot of organizations like Together Omaha, well, we've had a lot of CARES Act and a lot of ARPA funding to help support the increased need that we've been supporting for the last 3 years. All of that CARES Act and ARPA funding is gone, which I find interesting because there's still families in need. There's still a lot of people who fell through the cracks. And I've always been saying that. Like, that was my problem early on. And I'm right there along with you, Wanda Lewis. How did the states decide to disperse the ARPA and CARES Act funds? Churches and nonprofits. That was like, we're not going to deal with the constituents. We're not going to deal with the families. We're just going to give it to the churches and the nonprofits and let them do the work. The problem with that is, what about the families who don't go to these churches? What about the families who don't know about these nonprofits? They fall through the cracks. And they're usually the families that's working. That's why they don't go to church. That's why they don't know about these nonprofits, because they're working, struggling, running the rat wheel, trying to survive. Those are the people who need that money. They're not getting a lot of these services. So that was the pitfall from the beginning.
And what's interesting about that too is getting people to know about those organizations. Those organizations need marketing, and a lot of times, nonprofit dollars come to you with a caveat that you cannot use it for marketing. There's a lot of stipulations, a lot of that out there. A lot of times nonprofit dollars come to you and they don't care about paying nobody to work, and they don't care about marketing, and they will put stipulations in there. This goes for the program, or this goes for this or that. It cannot go to marketing and cannot go to personnel. And so that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't know about these organizations, is because they can't put dollars into marketing the way they ought to be in order to get that word out. But to your point, that shouldn't be the only two ways that the money goes out in the first place.
Right.
But it's just an example of the stipulations that can come with when you're getting nonprofit dollars in order to do what you're trying to do. So interesting stuff. Ghost Listener 402 says, I agree with Wanda. Why groups get Omaha giving money now, hosting galas?
Mm.
Who's paying $50 for events? Wanda Lewis says some of those that donated benefited from tax write-offs and took over some of the nonprofits. And those approving funding go on to these same churches. Those approving funding go on to these same churches. Rose Review says, "What about the portion of people who don't believe in the Bible church?" That's what Buddy's saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't go to church and can't get those dollars. And the stuff that I'm learning about nonprofit dollars and write offs too is a lot of this stuff is a benefit. Is a benefit. Brother Valentine says, "Slow down, First Sky Omaha. Y'all about to get shut down on YouTube sharing this information." Hey, that's why we going to YouTube. YouTube is a search engine, bro. See,
Man.
YouTube has the least agenda out of all these cats, because of how they're set up. You can say what you want to say. You might not be able to monetize yourself, but you can say what you want to say on it for real.
That part.
And trust me, this is all temporary. This is all so that we can get to our own to do these things from our own platform, because the whole goal from 2 years ago as of this day has been ownership
and self-sustainability.
Self-sustainability and growth and economic growth. So, it's no question here that we're in here trying to do what we're talking about as far as saving, about watching the dollar, saving your money, becoming sustainable, so on and so forth. And also that's why I want to give Rome's Reviews a little minute in this as well. Rome's Reviews is giving us a little tip on following the money, following your own money. He said investing $2,000 a year for 10 years for a total of $20,000 in a Roth IRA will mature to $60,000 in 20, 30 years, make it $10,000 a year, and it increases to $300,000, something like that. He's putting some of this language in my head again. This is the kind of stuff I'd be trying to read about and get hip on, especially during the season of Follow Your Money, learning some of these things, because we do need to be, part of building wealth is all kinds of things. Insurance, life insurance policies, saving money, investing money, building business, lots of things that have to happen here. And if we're not minding our business that way, then we're not doing anything. Keatron Zykel in the house. Good morning to you. I'm glad you're here. She says, "Does YouTube have a chat feature?" It does. It has a more enhanced chat feature, as a matter of fact, which is one of the reasons why we're going over there. Don't ask me what it is yet. It's on my list.
It's on there.
It's on my head smoking list, right? But it's on there. Yeah. As a matter of fact, there's you can do power. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with the chat. So we'll let you know about that as we go along and learn it ourselves. Ghost Listener 402 says, "What is actual success of North Omaha programs like Own the Pond and Wealth Building?" Is that a question? You're asking what is the actual success?
Or is he saying that's what actual success is?
Oh, what is actual success of North Omaha programs like? Got it. Okay, that's why I really want to talk to Own the Pond. I've been reading a little bit about that. I definitely want to check it out. Wanda Lewis says, "Have you took notice that several of the church have become part of the political platform, even though they're supposed to be exempt from certain input due to their 501c3?" We learned that over at Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. They were very, very adamant. Listen, we're a 501c3. We cannot have political affiliations. Be careful what you say on the air because of that.
Yeah. Which is another reason why we moved away. It's not just our business model and the setup, but not relying on nonprofit dollars, but also being able to say what we want to say.
There you go.
How we want to say it.
That is interesting that churches have been going that route. I was thinking that.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people who were for the fact that the race, Warnock won. And I saw a lot of congratulations. Our churches that were putting congratulations posts out. We did it. So and you guys were behind. I guess you probably at your congregations telling people, like the information still goes through, especially in the Atlanta, I can imagine.
Oh yeah, I mean this is the Bible Belt, man. This is definitely the Bible Belt, and to make it all even more ironic, Raphael Warnock is the pastor at the same church where Dr. King and his father preached at. So
wow,
that is still going on. That energy, that spirit is still alive and well. And I do have some opinions on that as far as like how churches are active or not active nowadays versus, you know, the days of King, because it wasn't just King. Like there were many, you know, clergymen and women who not necessarily were in the political realm as far as running for office like Brother Warnock, but were at least vocal in the streets, and don't necessarily see that as much today, which is kind of my feeling about that whole situation.
Well, check this out. This is something that I've been talking about a long time from my upbringing in the things that I've learned. Bible prophecy talks about the fact that they're going to shut down churches, and the way that it's going to happen is through that tax situation. You can't do all these things and be tax free. And I bet you there's going to, I can tell you right now, it soon there will be a time when they come down and shut these things down, and they're going to shut them down, being like, well, look, you're just a regular business out here promoting candidates and so on and so forth. You're going to start paying taxes like everybody else, and a whole lot of churches going to fall because of that tax. Because they're going to be taxed like every other business. It's going to be a big deal. And I see it happening. You know, I see it. I can't call when it's going to happen, but I think soon. I think that there's a lot of the attitudes that we're seeing around here is like, why are churches getting away with this mess? What's going on there? And what if we did tax the churches? How much money? What kind of revenue could we bring in at this point? At that point,
man.
And look at all these cats out here doing all this buying of mansions and stuff with the money. Like there's gonna be a whole bunch of uncovering. A whole bunch of following the money in the church is about to happen. Is what I'm trying.
You just said that Creflo Dollar's like right around the corner from my house, bro. His church is like literally like 10, 15 minutes away. That's funny. That's funny.
Wow. Brianna Full in the house. I'm glad you're here. Good morning. We were just talking about you. She says it really makes it hard as a candidate to reach people when all the organizations in North Omaha are nonprofits. So you can't come speak to them without having to invite the other people running in a race.
Yep.
Yes, very true. Kimber Snipe says, I left my church after 40 years. It was in my neighborhood, but not doing much in it. Wanda Lewis says, I took notice because when members of the churches showed up at city council meetings, several of them were reprimanded for expressing an opinion. Interesting. Kimber Snipe says, meanwhile, I'm finding shell casings on my front step. Goodness. Michael Watts says, voting community don't rock with the so no worry. So no worry. Oh, don't rock with so no worry. The voting community.
Yeah, a little unclear what you're trying to say there, Brother Watts. A little unclear.
Trying to read Brianna Fool's comment again. Yeah, clarify if you could a little bit. Yeah, I hear you. That's what we were saying, Brianna Fool. That's what we were saying about working at Mind and Soul. Is if since we were on the radio over there, that's a nonprofit organization that was the father company of that, and we had to, if we had on, you know, say Carol Blood, we'd also have to have on Pillin. It's and then of course it's just really, really convoluted and complicated, being a nonprofit organization and having that's why you're not supposed to have affiliations. You're not supposed to have affiliations with political parties as a nonprofit. Yeah, interesting stuff. Marianne Williams says the property taxes on the massive amounts of land owned by the Catholic Church alone would end homelessness in Nebraska.
Man,
I used to live in Rome, right next to the Vatican. I learned about how much land the Catholic Church has, and the year I learned it was the year that McDonald's took over being the biggest landowner in the world. But before that, it was the Catholic Church.
That's interesting. But that's right along my, like, you kind of hit, like, that's a very, very huge point that you hit on in regards to the tax situation with churches, and if that changes the impact that would have. I mean, look at the property taxes, not just the Catholic churches, but, you know, all of these Baptist churches that are in the community, that a lot of the members don't live in the community. So they have the wealth pool that's generated and consolidated in these churches is heavy. There's a lot of wealth in these churches, and a lot of these members who don't live in the communities that they go to church in have a lot of that wealth. What if they were taxed? How would that impact the communities in which the churches are in? That's a huge point. That is a huge, huge point. And then in regards to Marianne Williams, specifically with the Catholic Church, look at Creighton.
That's what Michael Watts just said. Look at Creighton in North Omaha. Brianna Fool, you got COVID. I'm sorry to hear that.
Whoa, get well
Yeah,
soon. Get well soon.
let us know if you need anything. Michael Watts was saying, voters don't rock with churches or nonprofits, so nothing to worry about. Do your own thing.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like voters don't rock with churches or nonprofits. Yeah, I mean, we gotta. It's hard to pinpoint who's voting, to be
Yeah, it's
honest.
not
Like,
voters aren't a monolith.
yeah, like where they get the information from and why they vote and whether or not they are
Informed.
part of nonprofits. I know I've been part of a lot of nonprofits that are definitely definitely circumvent that 501c3 thing and back candidates and encourage people to go vote for certain candidates and all that. Um, I've seen it a lot, so that's rough. Anyway, Kimmer Snipe says I grew up in AME and always loved the history of social activism. We don't see that today like I would like to see. Yeah, I think they're going to come down on it, man. I really do. I think that that's
Mm.
going to be part of it. Um, Look at eligible voters versus those who voted in North Omaha for real. We looked at that statistic. I was still trying to find out how many didn't register, but just the ratio from registered voters to
Voters.
voters was pretty horrible as far as numbers are concerned. Brianna Full says in North Omaha, it's older, middle income, and high income Black people who are doing all the voting, and we're finding out they're not voting how we think they are sometimes.
Man, yeah. Again, a lot of them voting Republican. A lot of them voting Republican. So yeah, very, very interesting. And again, as Amy Huffler says, kind of correlating with what I said, there are no monoliths. So there you go.
And one last point on this before we move on. It's 8:51 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, Wanda Lewis. Let's do a little lightning round in a minute.
Yes, sir.
Wanda Lewis says, "If I had a business, I don't think I would take up with a nonprofit. We decided to make First Sky Omaha not a nonprofit organization. It was definitely brought to us that we ought to, in order to sustain what it is. It's a nonprofit town. There's too many dollars out here to be trying to act like there's not. But we wanted to make it a for-profit company because we have different plans for sustainability and ownership than we would call for a nonprofit. But we are benefiting from nonprofit dollars by partnering up with organizations that can be our fiscal agent for those nonprofit dollars. And really, it's up to those foundations and the places and the people that give away grants to look at what we do and decide this is something that's worth giving us, even though we're a for-profit company.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is there as well. We have full control with still being able to take advantage of some nonprofit dollars sometimes, not all, but some, in order to sustain this. And it really is a testament to those because now they're saying, okay, well, we're going to figure out a way to get some money to this for-profit company to do what they do. They look at what we do as valuable enough to want to do that. But with us, it always has to come in a situation where we don't have to. There's no stipulations that come with that money. That's just them
Yeah.
that deciding they want to donate to the cause in the same way that anybody who does a $10 or a $25, $50 a month donation does.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And
you
if it
know,
did come with stipulations, we wouldn't accept it.
yeah, there's no way. There's no way we could. There's just no way we could. So, you guys are having a good conversation in here about Democrats, Republicans, two-party systems. We're always talking about those things as well. I really appreciate everybody that's in the chat, chatting with each other. I'm not going to read them all, but I do love the fact that there's several different conversations going on as well, because that's what this is all about.
Yep.
A conversation. It is getting close to the end of the show though, so let's do a little bit of a lightning round, buddy, if you don't mind. Uh,
Yeah. And I'll jump right in to our lightning round, continuing with this conversation, because one way that we can get out of this nonprofit dependency is, again, this Economic Recovery Act that could hopefully stimulate some business in the community and not just nonprofits, but, give us some bootstraps to pull ourselves up by. And the state has awarded $400,000 in the economic recovery funds for use in the planning of Omaha's Airport Business Park. One of the main features of this economic recovery plan, something that we've been continually looking our eyes out for and paying attention to. Big shout out to State Senator Justin Wayne, put some respect on his name, who spoke to Channel 6 News earlier this year, saying that the city was eyeing land south of the Stores Parkway for such development and already has some commitments and a handful of companies prepared to come in. And again, this $400,000 award will go towards, again, boosting that and stimulating that process. The grant announced Tuesday was the first step in implementing the state's airport business park program. The next phase, expected to be announced early next year, will finalize the development plan and award up to $60 million in grants for that development. So again, it's looking good. It's looking good. They are moving forward. Apparently they are, narrowing down to the land that they want to develop. And I'm feeling excited that this will come to fruition. Exactly the impact, exactly what businesses, that's still a conversation. But as of now, it is moving forward. So there you go.
Well, finally we get some updates on that ARPA fund.
Right. Again, it's been about a year, and again, over the next month, we will have more and more updates come out as Olson, the consulting firm, again goes over all of the applications that were put in, the programs that were proposed, and start to whittle out some of the good from the bad, and we'll get a better idea of where this money will be going.
Fingers crossed they come across our application.
Hopefully. In other news, and on the state level, coalition of Nebraska lawyers, educators, and advocates on Monday launched an effort to battle what it views as extremism and misinformation against educators, public officials, and members of the LGBTQ community. This is led in part by State Senator Adam Moorfield of Lincoln. The group of about 10 individuals announced the creation of the Nebraska Legal Action Fund, which aims to use all the legal tools at our disposal to protect Nebraskans and expose extremists, their tactics, and misinformation. Moorfield went on to say these tactics are dangerous to our democracy, influence the outcomes of elections, and create a toxic political environment, adding that the time without financial and legal consequences has come to an end. Undoubtedly, you have to understand this is coming out of those school board debates that's been going on across the state and really across the country. And just some of the rhetoric that's going out. Of course, we talked about Twitter. We talked about, some of the conversations that are happening socially and how that impacts our elections, the political environment, all of that. This is to combat that. So is it good? Is it bad? We'll see what work comes out of this new legal action fund.
Yep.
In other news, speaking of legal action, the Trump organization has been convicted in executive tax dodge schemes. This is being reported by the Grio. Donald Trump's company has been convicted of tax fraud on Tuesday in a case brought to the Manhattan District Attorney. A significant repudiation of financial practices at the former president's business. The guilty verdict came on the second day of deliberations following a trial in which the Trump organization was accused of being complicit in a scheme by top executives to avoid paying personal income taxes on job perks such as rent-free apartments and luxury cars. Again, the rich doing rich stuff.
Donald Trump, of course, is not being convicted of anything, just his business.
No.
So,
but again, the conviction is a validation for New York prosecutors who have been hunting Trump for quite some time. Again, they spent the last 3 years investigating the former president and his business practices, though the penalties, again, aren't expected to be severe enough to jeopardize the future of Trump's company and possibly his 2024 presidential run. So as Paul just mentioned, pretty much a slap on the wrist.
Pretty much.
I guess to round off our lightning round, we'll just wrap up with the Warnock's defeat of Walker in Georgia State runoff. State Senator Raphael Warnock defeated his Republican challenger Herschel Walker, of course, in a runoff election that capped a grueling and costly campaign, secured a 51-seat Democratic majority, and gave the first Black senator from Georgia a full 6-year term. And again, Warnock is the senior pastor of Atlanta's Ebenezer Baptist Church, again, the same church where Dr. King and his father preached from. So again, continuing that work and continuing to step in those footsteps. And his victory Warnock says, "I am Georgia," he proclaimed Tuesday night, saying, "I am an example and an iteration of its history, as I just mentioned, of its peril and promise, of the brutality and possibilities, because this is America, because we always have a path to make our country greater against unspeakable odds. Here we stand together." And again, the people have spoken. So yeah, I'm definitely glad that as a resident of Georgia, I will not be represented by Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker.
Yeah, I mean, no offense to brother Herschel, but yeah,
No, I'm offended. I'm offended back. I wanted to start off with this story today because I wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that now there's a majority Democrat in the seats, and well, that's why it's very significant that Pete Ricketts is trying to run for Senate as well. There's a lot of power in those seats, but yeah, we'll move on from there since we're at 9 o'clock right now. Did want to mention there is a HAPS coming up here as of tomorrow, so definitely wanted to give a little bit of time for this. Mandela at the Nelson Mandela School Literacy Festival. They have. I did not know they had a Nelson Mandela Literacy Festival. That's what's up. Angie Thomas, A Night with Angie Thomas, the author of The Hate You Give. She'll be there Thursday. That's tomorrow at 6 p.m. No tickets required. General admission seating. Definitely go check this out if you can. It's located at the Holland Performing Arts Center. So you get a chance to go to the Holland and see a woman who wrote a phenomenal book that got made into a film. That was great. The Hate You Give. Definitely check her out. This is a very important thing to go check out and talk to and support the sister Angie Thomas. So definitely go check that out if you have a chance tomorrow. Look into it. You can go to Omaha Performing Arts and I think you can register there, or you can just go to the Holland Performing Arts tomorrow at 6 o'clock and give them your name and stuff there to be able to get in to see this. So definitely check this out. Support if you can. And that's pretty much all I'm going to talk about today as far as the HAPS is concerned, since we're running a little bit late.
I do have something.
Go ahead.
Before we get out of here, I just want to round back around to the OPS conversation we were having about the buses. There will be some opportunities for families to speak on that and to get more information if you are interested. Today at the TAC building from 6 to 7 p.m., there will be an information meeting. Again, today at the TAC building, the TAC boardroom from 6 to 7 p.m., there will be an opportunity and information meeting from parents to get more information on what's going on with OPS's transportation. Also, for those who don't speak English, on Thursday, tomorrow, there will be also a meeting and there will be Burmese, Karen, and Karini speaking liaisons available at this meeting. That's from 6 to 7 at Benson High in the cafeteria. So again, tomorrow, there will also be a meeting from 6 to 7 at Benson High in the cafeteria. And again, those who speak Burmese, Karen, and Karini, there will be liaisons available there. And then also for Spanish speaking individuals on Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m., there will be a meeting at South High as well. So again, there's a few opportunities for those concerned with the OPS busing changes to have their voices heard and to ask some questions. And I'll go ahead and post that schedule also. Yeah.
There you go. That's what's up. Also, Amy Huffless earlier in the chat said this Saturday, December 10th, 9:30 to 12:30, Nebraska Urban Indian Health Coalition is hosting a health fair, free COVID-19 boosters, flu vaccines, STI and HIV screenings. So definitely check that out as well. That's a major thing. We'll talk a little bit more about that Friday since it's a Saturday thing. But mark your calendars there. Nebraska Urban Indian Health Coalition is hosting a health fair, free COVID-19 boosters, flu vaccines, STI and HIV screenings. Definitely check that out. Here's the schedule that Buddy put in the chat for us for this, which this is the all the times for and places for the busing system. Okay, yeah, we got in there twice now. Brianna also she says if anyone has questions about the new transportation changes, definitely attend those meetings. You can email me with concerns too. That's bree.full4ops@gmail.com. So that's what's
There
up.
you go.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Rome's Review says Primo Mexican Restaurant is having a free Crawford fight viewing. That's what's up.
That's awesome.
Love that. Tacos in the fights. So that's what's up Saturday, December 10th. Like I said, we'll talk more about this Friday. We're going to get out of here today. Just want to leave you guys with one little quick message. Two little quick messages. First of all, this is our second anniversary. As of today, 2 years ago today, we started. We went live from the void. back when we was all masked up and all that good stuff. Live from the void 2 years ago, and here we are 2 years later. This is the second anniversary of First Sky Omaha. So appreciate everybody that came with us along the way. Also, I found this picture to be very interesting. This whole little picture right here just reminds me that people can change. Here's a rockabilly cat that looks like he's a little bit of a troublemaker, a little rock and roller back from the 50s. He ended up being this cat right here, Bob
Oh
Ross.
yeah, I was wondering who that was.
Yeah.
Happy accidents, happy accidents.
Yeah, man. Happy accidents, Bob Ross. So yeah, just people change. People can change. That's my message. That's my message for today.
Hey.
Thank you very much for everybody that's joining us, buddy. You got some words for the people?
Man, big shout out to Precious for joining us, even from the beach, man, from Puerto Rico, man. Enjoy your day, Precious. You definitely deserve some time off, some beach time, some sun. So we appreciate you for joining us, but definitely enjoy your day. Big shout out to all the chat chimers as always, man. This show will not be the same even 2 years later. It's because of you that has kept us going for these 2 years. If nobody showed up to talk, me and Paul could talk on the phone. It's because of y'all that we keep doing this. So we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. Generally, we truly thank you for the support that we receive from you, and are glad to know that we are, serving you and helping you understand what's going on, and really helping each other understand what's going on in our community. So yeah, tell a friend, man, come on through. This is a love affair, man. It's all love here. We're just trying to get down to the bottom of it and make sure everybody's taken care of. So until next time, catch the same time, same place. Again, one last week, the 16th, we are going on break. So next week will be our last week of the season. So yeah, come on through.
Yep. Stephanie Smith says a great show, very informative. I appreciate all the hearts there, all the love you're giving us. Precious McKesson gives us a happy anniversary. Appreciate that. Brother Valentine says 2 years later, still going strong. Congratulations. Thank you. Pop says again, happy anniversary. Thank you for bringing light to a very dark world. We adore you. See you Friday. Thanks, Pop. Appreciate them words. Precious says people definitely can change. That's right. Amy Huffler says happy anniversary. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much. Our sister Whitney Richardson is celebrating with us. Really appreciate that. Definitely check out her podcast, Political Evolution. She got a new interview on there that sounds pretty interesting. I haven't heard it yet, but knowing her, it's going to be dynamic. Definitely check it out where you get your podcast, Political Evolution with Whitney Richardson. Check that out for sure. And also, Brother Valentine says, stay safe, fam, and continue to hold yourselves and each other accountable. Love it. I love it. Shout out to the Omaha tribe elders that allow us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Thanks to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. And thanks to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. We really appreciate everybody that is engaged in these conversations. Thank you very much. Also, thanks to the people who are reoccurring members and sponsors of the channel as well. If you're so inclined, go to firstskyOmaha.com, hit the donate button, and help us to continue this part of the memberships is part of our sustainability, and that's how we are going to continue to be able to say what we want to say, and you can say what you want to say here on this show as well, and we can get those messages to the powers that be and to the rest of the media to get out. Everybody is listening to what it is that we have to say here. How we deep dive and discuss things with each other is what people are paying attention to. So keep doing it and keep sustaining us, and so that we can keep this conversation going. Really appreciate everybody that's done that already. We do have a couple of special guests coming. A guy named Murphy that's doing a show with Bridget, St. Bridget, and the Benson Theater. It's a Christmas show that's coming. It's kind of a holiday show. It's called Holiday Lights. Not just Christmas. It's a bunch of different things. Go check out Holiday Lights. We'll talk a little bit more about it Friday, and he'll come on and talk about that. But we also got Joaquin Fox coming in that's going to be talking about the Black Gun Club that he's a part of that's getting ready to have their first meeting. So definitely, it's always dynamic when Joaquin comes in. So stay tuned for his show, his interview on Friday. We'll be talking to him and hopefully all of you as well. Tell a friend, spread the word. Hit the like and subscribe button, bang the dilly so you can know when it's coming on through. And until then, we'll see you Friday. You guys really stay warm and take care of each other. Check on each other. It's getting cold outside. Keep the heat on, like they say in Minneapolis. We'll see you Friday. Peace.
By the way. Vanguard.